Lakeside Dental Clinic, Go Island, is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic.
Tucked away on a cobblestone street in downtown Nanaimo on Skinner Street, to be particular, is the Palace Hotel. It was built in 1889 and is celebrating 125 years. A passion and talent for music and art. Bison on Vancouver Island, and the boys are at it again. It's a brand new clock. And congratulations, 125 years of the Palace Hotel in downtown Nanaimo. A cheer, absolutely, from everybody gathered here today. Awesome. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're going to look into the heritage significance of this building throughout the next 30 minutes, but we're starting out with Derek Johnstone, who's spending some time in the Oceanside area, getting to know an artist who was inspired enough to call Oceanside home. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. I love the brickwork. This is the way things were done back in the day being 1889 when the Palace Hotel was built. It has been the Palace Hotel as someone skateboards down a cobblestone street, which is also very cool. It's been the Palace Hotel since day one. You can see the very cool stained glass windows here that are original, aren't they, Bernie?
Yes, the original.
Okay. Now, back in the day, 1889, let's focus on the hotel part. Who would live there or who would stay there?
Just people that are just moving to Nanaimo, getting off the train and needing a place to stay.
And then they'd also work at the bar too?
Yes, they would also work here, yes.
Okay, now bar life was very different back then. It's a pretty mixed environment these days, it's safe to say. What do you think bar life was like back in the day?
Totally different from what it was then. We're just an old beer parlor, people coming down, having a drink and socializing. We're a center of town.
Okay, and back then it was also the center of town, but you couldn't really, the women had to be on one side and the men on the other. Tell me about that.
That's right, women on one side and guys on the other. Women had to be invited onto the other side. There's two separate bars.
The men are still trying to invite women over to the other side these days, aren't they, I think?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Now, would there have been like horses pulling up in front here?
In 1889, yes, they would have been.
Okay, now you guys did a bunch of renovations or rehabilitations or restorations a couple of years ago. What did you do?
We redid the entire building. The entire facade has been redone. Everything's been painted, a totally new front of the building, and we added a new patio at the back.
And you've won awards for that patio.
Yes, we have.
As well. And there's actually been awards that have been won for the rehabilitation project. We're going to show you that award and talk to Diane Brennan, Chair of the Heritage Commission, later on this edition of Go Island. Time now for a short break. Still to come today, spending some time with Buffalo Bob just south of Nanaimo and looking for ancient predators in Qualicum Beach.
Hi, my name is Chris Southwick and I'm a volunteer in the accommodations area for the BC Summer Games. Did you know that we need 350 volunteers for accommodations alone? We also need, in that 350, 250 people to help supervise the dorms and keep our athletes safe.
Ain't no party like a palace party, and there ain't no history like the history here at the Palace Hotel in downtown Nanaimo. And you know, there ain't no TV show like Go Island either. You are watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're looking into the history here. 125 years of focal point in Nanaimo social life, culture, and development here back in the late 1800s. We're going to throw things over now to history of an entirely different type, bison, on Vancouver Island. This is the award that was presented to the Palace Hotel in 2013, acknowledging the work that they did to preserve the heritage building located here at 275 Skinner Street in downtown Nanaimo. Diane Brennan is co-chair of the Culture and Heritage Commission, which acknowledges the importance of heritage in not just our downtown core, but the city itself. How important is it downtown?
I think it's probably one of the most important aspects of downtown. We have the waterfront and we have the heritage. And the heritage buildings in Nanaimo are really second to none. I think we really stand out as a historic city. People come to our city to do the tours of downtown, the historic buildings, historic neighborhoods. And this award was given because the facade outside just maintains the character of the city from inception and carries on with just how important heritage is to our whole community, but especially to downtown.
I've heard it said that you can't really know your city in today's age unless you're familiar with its history. And these are perfect examples of how knowing why and who we are today is connected to our past.
Oh, absolutely. You know how the hotels had their bars and they had the women and ladies and escorts. Yes. And the men. And you can see in there that the men were particularly important. This was a mining town. These were people who enjoyed a pint at the end of the day. And when you see the men's side, you'll see this fabulous ceiling, a tin ceiling, and how often do you see that now? It was installed in 1925, and it just really perks up the historic character of this building and this bar. It's still a bar, you know? How often does that happen where you maintain the same business and you just capture the beauty of history and heritage in your town? And now you can sort of say, okay, that's Nanaimo. I understand our roots, and I can move on and see how things change for the future, and I'm part of that, so it's exciting.
It is. Thank you very much. And again, congratulations, 125 years at the Palace Hotel. We'll be back with more after a short break. You're watching Go Island on Shaw TV Channel 4. We're out here in the beautiful patio of the Palace Hotel celebrating 125 years. It's been the Palace Hotel since day one, and in celebration of the little birthday party that's being held here today, Jaxie has put together an historical slideshow presentation. What have you learned in putting that together?
I've learned a lot about Nanaimo's history and the part that the miners played and the railroad played in our history, and how much the Palace Hotel really has given back to our community over these last 125 years.
What are some of the other images that you put together in that slideshow?
I put together how Nanaimo's whole waterfront and everything developed and got bigger and where we played in it. I put different old staff that was in here. The original VIU teacher, Malaspina teacher, that actually stayed at the Palace Hotel when he first moved to Nanaimo. There was pictures of the mayor back when the Palace Hotel opened. And
so it was a pretty big deal, and I think it's pretty special that the building is still here and its history is still celebrated.
Yeah, we celebrate it a lot. We are part of the Nanaimo Heritage Walk, so we do make sure that a lot of our bartenders and stuff like that here know our background, or at least a little bit, so when people come in, they can give them a little bit of a background. So
looking now, I don't know if this is politically incorrect. It's not what I'm known for, political correctness, but I see a lot of the clients who are here are a bit older. Do you hear stories about the people who are coming into the bar?
Oh, I do. I've heard many stories. We've actually have one person here today who has been coming to the Palace for the last 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so our daytime patrons are a lot of our regulars, so if you want to know about Nanaimo history or anything like that, they're a really good source. So
sit down, have a cold one, and shoot the breeze with some guys who lived it.
Yeah. Hey, bring a steak, put it on the barbecue.
Awesome. Now that goes to say a lot for customer loyalty, coming to the same place for a cold one for 60 years. We're going to throw things over to a couple of guys, Todd Jones and Derek Johnstone, who I really hope do take 60 years to find the next clue. It's a brand new installment of Clock. Jocelyn, watch out for the pole behind you, all right? I admit that one was a little bit challenging for those guys. I didn't really take into account, or I didn't know that there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex at the Qualicum Beach Museum. But yes, we won one, finally. That does bring us to the end of this edition of Go Island, celebrating heritage in our downtown core. And the Palace Hotel is on the historical tour series offered by the Nanaimo Museum. You can give them a call to get more information on that, 250-753-1821. Thank you for watching this edition of Go Island, celebrating heritage in our downtown core. We'll see you next time.
Lakeside Dental Clinic Go Island is brought to you by Lakeside Dental Clinic, a division of the Vancouver Island Implant Center, delivering dental services, including dental implants and sedation dentistry, all under one roof. Clothing supplied by Catwalk Fashions. Kate's Hair and Aesthetics provided by Maffeo Salon.